All right, so we're going to talk about inequalities today. A lot of this doesn't change from equations, especially the adding and subtracting part. So this is going to be very, very similar to your equation solving, one-step and two-step equation, except now we're using inequalities. And I know that may be confusing. What is an inequality? We're going to go over that today. So your learning target is I know how to solve inequalities by using the addition and subtraction properties of inequality. All right, so first things first. We need to know what kind of symbols we use when we're talking about inequalities, and a lot of this might be a little bit of a review, but this symbol right here, this is called less than, right? We used to talk about this as the alligator. Right here, this is going to be greater than. This one right here with the line underneath it is less than or equal to. That little line underneath means is less than or equal to. Something is either less than this or it's equal to it. And the same with here. This is greater than or equal to. So those are the four symbols that we really use when we're talking about inequalities. Now, to solve problems that involve inequalities, you have to use the addition and subtraction properties of inequality, which say that if you add or subtract the same number from each side of an inequality, the inequality will remain true, which is the same exact thing that we've been doing with equations as well. So, therefore, if a, b, and c are real numbers, then if a is greater than b, then a plus c will be greater than b plus c. And if a minus c, and a minus c is greater than b minus c. So if a is greater than b, if you add the same thing to both sides, or if you subtract the same thing to both sides, they're going to stay the same. It's still going to be a is greater than b. And the same goes here for if a is less than b, then a plus c is less than b plus c, and a minus c is less than b minus c. So let's do a couple examples here. All right, so example 1 says to solve x minus 5 is greater than 12, check your solution, then graph your solution on a number line. Okay, so this is gonna be kind of 3 steps here, but the first part is we need to solve x minus 5 is greater than 12. And to figure out what that is, to figure out what values of x are going to give you a number greater than 12, all you have to do is you have to add 5 to both sides. Because x is subtracting 5, and this is a negative 5 here, we have to add 5 to both sides. And when we do that, we're going to see that x is greater than 17. X is greater than 17. That's what that means. So now we figure out x is greater than 17. Now we have to check our work. Make sure that that is correct. And the way that we do that is because x is greater than 17, we need to make sure this is in a true inequality by choosing a number that is greater than 17. And usually we just use the number that is one above that, a simple number that we could use. So we have 18. I'm plugging in 18 for x now. Minus 5, is that greater than 12? And if we evaluate that, 18 minus 5 is going to be 13. 13 is greater than 12. That checks out. That's true. That's what that means here. So we've checked our work. We have to check your work, you have to choose a number that is true for this statement. So if this is x is greater than 17, then plug in 18 or plug in the number that's just right above that. All right, so now we've solved the equation, we've checked our solution. Now we have to graph this on a number line. So I'm going to make a little number line here real quick. I'm just going to use my ruler to make sure I get a straight line, and that's kind of crooked, isn't it? Oh well. So this is just going to be a basic number line, and the big thing is that we need to include numbers around 17. So I'm going to start here at 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we'll go ahead and label those real quick. We'll do 21 too. Okay. Your number line doesn't have to look exactly like mine as long as you include numbers, a few numbers before 17 and a few numbers after 17. Since 17 is the one that we're deciding on here. So what we have to do is we have to use this number right here in order to graph it on a number line. We have to use this number by giving a open circle. Now this is very important. That circle right here at the key point, which is 17, has to be an open circle. That means not filled in, okay? Because it is greater than 17. It doesn't include 17, but it means numbers that are greater than 17. And then to graph it, we're just going to show, okay, these are the numbers that are greater than 17, so we're going to just fill in all the numbers over to the right. So we've graphed now x is greater than 17 by putting a little circle around 17 and showing, yep, the numbers above, that's true. And if we see 18, 18 is greater than 17. 19 is greater than 17. 20 is greater than 17. That's how we do that. Okay, so let's do another example. Example 2 says solve n plus 3/4 is less than or equal to 2 and check your solution. Then we need to graph the solution on a number line. So first things first, let's go ahead and solve this equation. We have to subtract 3/4 from both sides. And we know, since we've been doing this for a little while, that that's going to be n is less than or equal to 2 minus 3/4 is going to be 1 1/4. Okay? If you don't know how to do that, come and see me and we'll go through that again, how I subtracted 3/4. So now we've got n is less than or equal to 1 1/4. And we need to check our solution, make sure that's right. So let's choose an easy number. What's a number that is less than 1 1/4? Well, 1 is an easy number to use. Let's check it using that. So we're going to plug in 1 for n plus 3/4 is going to be less than or equal to 2. And if we do that, we just see we have 1 3/4, which is obviously less than 2. So it's less than or equal to 2. So that checks out. That makes sense, okay? Finally, the last thing that we need to do is we need to graph our solution on a number line. So I'm going to go ahead and make this graph again. Draw a little line here. And remember, we've got to use the 1 1/4 in our number line, and since it's 1 1/4, it'd be wise if we were to space it out by fourths along our whole line here. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to say this is 1 1/4. I'm going to put that right in the middle. We'll go 1 and then 3/4, 1/2 that way. So this is 1 3/4. 1/2, or 2/4 is equal to 1/2. And then this way we're going to go 1 1/2, 1 3/4, and 2. Alright, so again, we have to, this is less than or equal to, so we have to choose our position right away. N is less than or equal to 1 1/4. So we're going to choose this position right here. And because it's less than or equal to, that is a closed dot, meaning that it includes that number 1 1/4. So you fill it in. Remember, that's the difference. When it's less than or equal to, you fill it in when it's got that equal to. If it's less than or greater than, then you have an open dot. Now it's n is less than that, which means we have to go this direction on our number line and fill it in that way. Okay, a lot of information today. It might take you a couple of times to just really get the hang of it. Just let's do the practice problems and you should be good to go. Thanks.